Hello and welcome. I've got a good video for you here today. This one is another F1 Manager 2024, and what I've done, as you can see here, I'm just showing the mods on the cars. Basically, the long and short of it is we're near the end of the season. I've got Lewis Hamilton and Alonso, who are fairly similar sort of skilled drivers that you can choose if you select your own team. And what I've done is, from the beginning of the season, I've given Lewis Hamilton mods that basically make his car faster, just on the straights, better DRS, all that. Alonso, what I did with him is basically done all his mods based around better handling, better tyre wear and all that, and they both got a few just to keep the engines cool, to see how it panned out over the season. And so far, at the beginning of the season, probably up to about the first quarter of the season, doing it like that, Hamilton with the speed mods was pretty much winning all the time versus Alonso. In fact, they was winning races. The two of them are 1 and 2 in the championship because it is only on easy difficulty. And then when we got to about the quarter point, up to about a third, halfway, they were both sort of fairly even. And then I would say from around about a third to halfway, Alonso's basically been killing it, because he was quite a bit behind Hamilton, and now in the championship he's a fair bit ahead. Before they get on to doing their race, which they're about to do, basically I haven't played this game since before Christmas. It was just on a save where I left it, so I'd kind of left the race set up. But as I say, regardless of how it turns out in this race, Alonso's been killing it pretty much all the way for the last few races. I don't think Hamilton's been anywhere near close. However, you do get the odd track maybe where they're a bit closer. So anyway, Lewis Hamilton, he's starting off on the soft tyres, and I've got Alonso, he's on the hard tyres. And then I'm meaning to sort of do them the other way round as we go. I'm narrating over this video, so I'm just kind of watching it at the same time to see what I've done. But usually what I've done, I've put them both on high overtake aggression and always try and defend. I've got them so they're avoiding the curbs and trying to drive in clean air as well. No team orders. Both of them, the cars are well enough set up as far as engine cooling and everything else goes now, that you can put them on full attack and use the maximum fuel as long as they got enough to do it. So the only things I've really got to manage during the race is the tyre changes and just manage the DRS really, and just make sure they don't run out of fuel. Pretty standard. As you can see at the moment, Alonso is out in front, because I think he was further up the grid than Hamilton. In the practices, Alonso's car was better, even when I've used the reserve drivers who are both pretty low level. That's sort of how it's panning out in the races, has been how it's been in practice. As I say, I haven't played it for a little while, so I'm just getting back into it. Bit of a break from the old routine after being stuck on MotoGP all the time. And I've actually had to go on my PC to do it, so I can basically record it in 1080p and all that as well, although the game's actually on 1440. But my laptop, I think, which I did the other videos on, I can only do 720p. Right, let's have a look. So Alonso's out in front at the moment. He's got the fastest lap. Hamilton's there back in 5th. They're both using maximum everything at this point. So I mean, if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, I'll see what the differences is. Basically, the long and short of it is, you're better off if you're going to choose speed or handling wins the day across the season. Although, as I say, that is on easy level. Whether that's the same on medium or whatever, I don't know. But I would guess it probably is. So as you can see at the moment, Hamilton's caught up. Alonso's just run a bit wide. That is something that he did seem to do for some reason on this particular track. Generally he's been pretty flawless, but for some reason on this particular race he generally hasn't raced his best. Hamilton's took the lead. If you watch it, you'll see on the straights Hamilton's car is noticeably faster. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, Alonso's certainly, if they were on the same tyres, will definitely get through the corners quicker. I'll just turn the volume up on my mic. See, the extra speed just gives Hamilton that advantage. You know, once he gets a little bit of, you'll see in a minute, he'll get a little bit of a nice bit on the straights he can get by, and then once he's released, he can take advantage of that speed. No, he hasn't managed it yet. He does get in front, I'm pretty sure. You can see Alonso's just fought back on the corners there.
Head down.
I suppose I could have narrated while I was trying to play it, but I'm not that good at playing and talking at the same time generally, so I just thought that was better to do it this way. There you go on the straight. Hamilton straight by Alonso again, and he's also going to go by Sainz in the Ferrari.
Copy. This is good work.
I can't remember whether the extra speed was enough for him to catch Verstappen. I think he gets on the back of him.
Just up
there you are. I mean, Hamilton's already pulled a 0.8 second gap. I think my advice would be, though, in terms of developing your parts for the cars, don't be sort of half-arsed with it, because you can end up in a situation where you're trying to do all your parts so they're really balanced and kind of give sort of an increase in benefits across the board. My strategy is usually, rather than do that, sort of stretch out the benefits in one area of each part without getting anything detrimental on it. So as long as you're not making the car any worse in any area, but just try and keep making it better, that's how I generally do it. Hamilton is managing to get up to the lead, but this is the first time in quite a few races that Hamilton had done this. I know he has got the softer tyre. No doubt I'll click onto the thing and see what tyres everyone else is running.
That's put you P2.
But Alonso's also come through as well at the moment.
Gap at 1.4.
I mean, I liked Formula 1 Manager 23. I thought that was a good game. But I do like the fact that you can start off and make your own team, because otherwise you was always kind of stuck with the drivers that you get with that team. So then you've got to keep playing a load of seasons before you can get, or at least another season before you can get anyone else. So this is quite good, so you can do these sort of comparisons. It was a bit more involved trying to do stuff like this on Formula 1 23. Right, so Sainz has managed to get by Alonso. So obviously not having that top speed is sort of playing in there a little bit.
Car behind.
And he's managed to get by Hamilton again.
Make sure you get that pack up. Recharge it.
Usually if the DRS hasn't got a lot of charge in it and I'm right on the back of someone and I don't want to go and totally blow it out, I'll normally stick it on harvest, and you can see there he's still managed to get by Sainz even with it on harvest there. And if I'm not behind anyone, I'll normally just stick it on neutral as a rule. Obviously Alonso's quite close to Lecona. Is it his name? I don't know, I think it is. Or am I getting mixed up with the guy out of Superbikes? Right, you can see there Hamilton's the only one at the front on softs. Most of the others have got medium, and Alonso's the fastest on the hards. Well, generally, I'm not sure if it's the best way of doing it or not, but I generally only opt for a single pit stop. I'm not a big fan of lots of pit stops if I can help it. I mean, in real life, if it was down to me, I would rather not have pit stops. I prefer motorbike racing, where it's just a case of you select the right tyres for the race, and that's it. They've got to last you the race. If they're not good enough, don't select them. That's kind of my take on it. Obviously, unless it rains or something and you're on a flag to flag.
Recharge off when you're ready. Copy.
So Hamilton's doing alright at the minute. 9 laps in, he's still right near the front with Sainz. Alonso's dropped back now, he's down in 7th. Obviously having the harder tyres and not having the speed on the straights is quite detrimental to him.
Use your tools.
Yeah, copy.
I mean, I can't try the early tracks in the game with a fully developed setup for handling or speed, because obviously you're not going to get round to them again until the next season, and then you've got to start everything again. So it could be possibly that some of them earlier tracks do favour speed, but certainly the pattern was beginning of the season go for speed, and then once you get to about a quarter of the way, the handling definitely plays a bigger part. So I don't know, obviously, because with the two drivers, they were both had cars that were focused on that one area for the whole season. I don't know how optimal that would have been if I'd have literally just done the first few races where they just had speed upgrades, and then both drivers then had the handling upgrades after. I'll perhaps try it. I'll perhaps ramp the difficulty level up, because I found that when you go from easy to normal or medium or whatever it is, the difficulty level just goes up flipping insanely on this game. Literally, if I put the difficulty level up a bit, I'm nowhere.
Yeah, don't sweat it, Lewis.
But now I've sort of done all this experimentation and that, I think this is probably my third season I've played in the game, so I've got a fair idea how it all plays out. Possibly I might be able to do alright at a higher level. I'll perhaps try it and see if it works. I mean, the one thing that is for sure that we've seen out of the older videos, you can see there Hamilton's starting to drop back now as the tyres are going off.
Okay, recharge on.
One thing that is for sure is that if you have got a good driver but a rubbish car, you ain't going to win nothing. And if you've got a really excellent car and a bad driver, you ain't going to win anything.
Focus on the race ahead.
That's what I deduced from my earlier video, where we put the bad driver in the good car and the really good driver in the totally standard car. Generally speaking though, with that scenario, the good driver beats the bad driver with the bad car. So certainly I would advise, if you're just looking to play through the game, to try and get as good a driver as you can. If you can get the best possible driver you can afford. I mean, Verstappen definitely, I would say, is the best driver out there by a margin on this game.
Overtake press. Overtake press.
I know the video's a bit long, and if you're still here you're probably getting a little bit bored, but when you're playing the game, literally, I think the video took about 40 odd minutes. That time just goes in the blink of an eye when you're actually playing it and managing it. Possibly if I weren't doing a video, I most likely would have just clicked the speed up to times 16 a lot more than I did. But you've got to be careful doing that, because you could suddenly miss opportunities to use your DRS, or it could run down and then you're not charging it up. So you do want to try and keep an eye on things quite a lot of the time, otherwise you can easily get caught out. So Alonso's definitely got the advantage through the corners, there's no doubt about it. And Hamilton's advantage through the straight, as the tyres are gradually getting more and more worn down, isn't doing him as much good as it was. I did actually, with Alonso in the end, I did actually go later on to the medium tyres, because he was wearing his tyres out a bit faster. I think he had an incident where he ran off the track and it wore him down, so I thought rather than risking him getting left behind because his tyres wore out quicker, I switched to the mediums a little bit sooner instead. Possibly with Hamilton, I'd possibly changed his tyres a little bit earlier than what I should have done. Because at the end of the race it does get a little bit touch and go as to whether he's going to make it to the end. He does.
Overtake is available.
But the tyres do seem, that graph that you get is a little, that's more of a guide. The tyre wear prediction thing. It does vary from track to track. It depends whether they're driving on their own or against other people all the while, and because for the majority of this race they're in the heat of battle, they're definitely wearing the tyres out faster than they perhaps would normally. Hamilton, well, and Alonso, they're both sort of doing alright at the moment. Alonso's just set the fastest lap. So yeah, Hamilton's going into the pits. I think I didn't take notice there, but I think I sent him in the pits because the other people at the front were going in.
So box.
Yeah, I went in a bit early there. I should have gone in a little bit later. So usually what I do when I know they're sort of going to be coming into the pits, I'll perhaps try and put them on conserve the fuel, so they can either have a little bit of a boost on the new tyres, and then try and obviously harvest it the DRS as well, or ERS. So Alonso's nipped off in front now, as you'd expect.
Recharge on, please, mate. Recharge off.
So no need to charge the pack.
Right, so Hamilton's in the pits. He's going to be coming out with the hard tyres.
Just be careful, traffic, pit exit.
And they need to stand him until the end of the race, which they do. Yeah, I think I pulled him in a little bit early really, but it just seemed like he was struggling a little bit there. It's where it's a bit funny with your tyre gambles. I mean, I've pulled him in about the right time, looking at the graph.
Just keep the pressure on Lewis, you can do this.
I didn't really want to do 3 pit stops, which I'd have had to have done if I'd have gone for the mediums.
Debris everywhere.
So just harvesting some ERS there. Right, so Alonso's right up there with the leaders at the moment. Hamilton's back down in 19th, but he's done his pit stop, so that's not too bad. You can see Alonso ain't going to keep up really with them front two. Well, he's actually closing in on them a little bit, but
Overtake is available.
I don't. Yeah, he's not going to catch him. I mean, he's 3.5 seconds there. He's getting held up by the traffic.
Head down.
A bit more DRS for Hamilton. So yeah, usually what I do, if I keep an eye on them when they're right behind someone and they've got the DRS charged up, I'll just flip and whap it on, deploy, do the overtake and then stick it back on neutral. You get some tracks though, if you leave it on neutral, that'll run out, so you have to do a lot more harvesting. Typically on them sort of tracks you just get by people and then they come by you. So yeah, you can see at the front Leclerc, not Lecona, Leclerc is he's got more tyre left at the moment. I kept pausing it because I couldn't remember how to get off that screen because I hadn't played it for a little while. I forgot how to do it.
Copy.
But what you'll find at the beginning of the season, if you don't get the engine cooling sorted out, which is mainly on your air scoops, when you keep pushing hard like this, you'll find that your engine temperature will be going right up into the red. So you're not going to be able to push that hard. So that's an important thing to remember when you're developing your cars, is to get your engine cooling side of things developed. It's just no good having a really good top speed if you can't really take advantage of it. driving in clean air obviously helps keep the engine cooler as well. And potentially, I guess, if I'd have made it so, because Hamilton's engine looks to be running quite a bit cooler, I could have not bothered putting him on that command and he might have gone a little bit faster, but 9 times out of 10, as soon as you flipping don't give them that command, they'll start having the engine overheat. Then you've got to slow down to cool it back down again. And
Yes. Bye-bye.
especially as I haven't played it for a while, I just thought I've got enough to do. You could see there on that graph, Alonso's tyre had just took a dip. So I'm guessing he must have locked up or done something.
Let's focus on charging that pack up.
Obviously the car set up for handling though is not doing bad, considering it's on hard tyres and they're getting fairly worn now.
2.1.
And he's got naff all top speed. That car's literally, in terms of top speed, no faster than I don't think it's any faster than the car was at the beginning of the season. Or if it is a little bit faster, it is only a very small fraction.
Good.
But that said, Hamilton's car won't handle or go round corners with any more G's than it would at the beginning of the season. So
Excellent job.
I think they're all going to start pitting now. I think engine wise I chose the Mercedes engines. That's pretty much the engines I've used every season I've played with my own teams, because they're the most reliable, and yeah, you give a little bit away in terms of speed I think compared to some of them, but if you develop your car properly and you've got good drivers, I would personally recommend sticking with the Mercedes, because the last thing you want to be doing is having to get new engines and gearboxes and stuff all the time and then having to start at the back of the grid. Hamilton's worked his way up to 6th, setting the fastest laps at the moment. So I decided to pull him in for a medium. Although he could have stayed out longer on that hard, it's not wearing the best. And you don't want to stay out so long that you're in a situation where the soft is going to struggle to get to the end of the race, but you're not going to be able to take advantage of having the medium for more laps. So I decided to call it and have the medium on this occasion rather than go for the soft.
Only just
See what the front runners have got there, hards and mediums.
And just charge the pack.
I just decided to get Hamilton harvesting for his pack, so that when he does get near someone in front, he's at least he can have full DRS for a little while. So I don't think it'd slow you down that much, not on a clear track.
Leclerc fitted onto the hard tyre.
So if I'd have known they were going in the pit then, I would have put him in the pit. But I didn't know, so never mind.
So box and pit confirmed.
Okay, copy, box.
So I just thought I'd get him to conserve some fuel,
Bring your throttle
get the
down.
pack charged up
Copy.
while he's on fairly worn tyres, and at least he can start on the
Okay,
next
retard
set
on.
Copy.
and go as fast as possible. So Hamilton's in the lead at the minute, 2.25
We
seconds.
do not require any fuel liftoff.
But he hasn't got good handling, and he is on hard tyres that
Okay.
have already worn down to 77%.
Stop and charge. Okay.
So Alonso's in a battle with Leclerc. Lack of straight line speed's not doing him any favours again. He would have made that overtake if he'd have been in Hamilton's car with no problems.
Let's just keep our heads down.
And he's got Norris behind him, who's just set the record. Fastest lap of the race,
Introduce a
rather.
little bit of management.
Going again. Say that's the thing you got to think. If you don't develop a car with enough top speed, you are at a bit of a disadvantage on them straights. But he has managed to get by finally. Oh no, he didn't. I thought he had. Who was I looking at then? I must have been looking at Hamilton. My screens just went off for a second because they auto power off if you don't move the mouse or anything for a little while. So I've just missed a few seconds there.
Straight to lift off.
Copy.
Yeah, so it's not looking great for Alonso at the minute. But
the overtake.
be assured that having better handling 9 times out of 10 in the long run always ends up working out. Especially as everyone's tyres wear down. And they can't quite push as hard round them corners. Hamilton's just holding on to the lead at the moment, but
Car ahead is Leclerc.
yeah, Norris has just got by.
Gap 0.4. Focus on the race ahead.
As I say, that's now Hamilton's tyres are starting to wear down, and he's on the hards. That's going to be quite detrimental, and unfortunately,
Okay,
having the higher speed car isn't going to be able to overcome that.
Yep.
Whereas Alonso
Just do the best you can.
is closing that gap.
Alonso car behind. And we're just going to need to introduce a little bit of lift and coast. Nice work, Lewis. You've got that Norris car ahead.
Why? What the...
Don't quite know why that Ferrari was on the grass there, but
I'm not quite sure what's happened there.
everyone's obviously pushing. So Alonso's finally caught Hamilton up. He's in a four-way scrap.
Good job. Come on.
Norris has checked out.
This is really good.
And
ahead is Hamilton.
Saints has as well.
Recharge on.
So Alonso's still struggling with that lack of top speed. The Stroll's literally just come blasting past him.
Car behind Leclerc.
And he's got Leclerc as well, challenging him again. And I am trying my best to manage the ERS and everything fairly for both cars. I mean, Alonso is on harvest at the moment, which is obviously going to slow him down a little bit. But that's another thing. It's like if you leave it on harvest for too long and let them get away too much, it's really hard to catch them back up. Even if you stick it on neutral, by the time you've caught them up, your pack can be down. So trying to judge that is a bit of a skill in itself. So I stuck them on deploy, tried to use a bit of extra fuel, but because we're getting near the end of the race, I don't like doing that too much. You don't want to have to go into conserve mode on the last lap if you're in a battle. Alonso's still got 83% on the mediums, so and he's right there. This is certainly a good track to show the advantages and disadvantages of the two approaches. Because generally all you'll see is the fast car will just fly away, never to be seen again, or the car that handles will do that. Whereas on this race, for the most part, overall they're both fairly even, but you can just see certain parts of the track and parts of the race where one's got the advantage over the other. And then if the flag was to drop now, you would definitely say that the car with the speed is the better car to go for.
You can cancel or reduce lift off where possible.
Understood.
But, you know, in the corners, Alonso, if there's any gap, can nearly always manage to make at least one overtake. But as soon as Hamilton gets on them straights, he can just stretch the car's legs a bit there. He's got a 1.6 second gap now. Whereas Alonso's still flipping Dyson with them other three cars. Or two of them. Because Leclerc's cleared off a bit as well. Right, finally Alonso's managed to get free so he can get maximum speed through them corners. And he's managed to flipping keep it going. Now Hamilton's he's struggling with Leclerc, so Alonso should be making his way back up to him soon. His tyres are not wearing too quick.
Keep plugging away.
Trying to deploy the DRS on Hamilton so he can get back by Leclerc. Which he has.
And think about this lifting coast.
So get the fuel turned back down.
And think about increasing the lifting coast just a little.
Alonso's not really dropped the others much though, a little bit. He's not really closing the gap anymore either. Not at the moment.
Overtaking is
Hamilton's
available.
still scrapping with Leclerc. But the tyres are going to be well past their best now on 57%, and hard's in the grippiest anyway. And you can see Alonso now is only 7/10 of a second behind, well, 7 or 8.
But hot and temps, just going to be some lift and coast.
Because that was the other part I did concentrate on with the hand, and was the tyre wear. Obviously I improved the tyre wear a little bit on
So
Hamilton's car as well. I didn't focus on that, whereas I did focus on getting the G's up
Recharge on.
and having good tyre wear
Can't get much
on
quicker.
Alonso's car.
Yeah, don't sweat it.
So that is coming into play now.
For info, we are not fuel limited. We are not fuel limited.
I've got the DRS deployed on Alonso, but he still couldn't get by Hamilton on that straightlet.
Increase limit.
So that shows you how much fast... Oh no, he has got by. I was looking at the wrong bit. So the DRS worked. Flipping out, I'm a terrible commentator, ain't I? Okay, so Alonso's gone by Lecuona as well. He's on it. Hamilton's still sort of just hanging on to the back of Lecuona, but not Lecuona, Leclerc. Lecuona is a world superbike rider. I do watch a lot of world superbikes as well as MotoGP. I don't really watch a lot of Formula One. I just like the management games, and I have occasionally played a bit of the normal ones as well. But there's not really enough things that you can change on the settings in the normal game for my liking, which is why I don't really bother with them too much. It is the playing around with settings and stuff that I like, hence why a management game appeals to me.
Gonna go fast, mate.
They should do a MotoGP manager. If they did it, I'd be flipping straight on it. I don't suppose anyone from Frontier is going to bother watching any of my videos, with my probably 40 people watching and my 200 sock accounts. But you never know. Right, so Alonso, you can see he's not going to win the race, but he's gapping Leclerc. If nothing goes wrong now, he's pretty much in a safe third position. I mean, he has put the fastest lap in, but he's in a safe third. Hamilton, well, his tyre's worn, he's on the hards.
You never know what's going to happen next. So no, the car behind.
Not
Gap
can't
1.0.
really make use now of having that high top speed on the straights, because he just can't get by people on the corners. As soon as he catches up on the corners, I mean on the straights, that's it, they're just leaving him. So yeah, I mean you can see he's still got plenty of tyre left. It's just a case of getting them over the line now. But yeah, Alonso, third position, not a particularly good result. Like I say, he's been winning most races, every race as far as I remember, for quite a few rounds now. So third's a bit crap really, but I think he's so far ahead in the championship. Hamilton's his next rival. Don't really matter. I think there's probably only 1 or 2 rounds left after this one. As I haven't played it since before Christmas, I don't know where I got up to.
Could you double your lift off, please?
I just kind of set the game up for this video, and the reason I haven't done this video is because I was supposed to be getting full fibre broadband literally just before Christmas,
Back it out.
because my internet here is terrible. And then literally on the day the guy comes, there you go, Alonso's going to be, oh no, still a few more. The day comes, the guy said there was something up, the port weren't set right or something, said I'd have to wait till after Christmas, so it was meant to be 6th of Jan. Virgin never turned up. Now I'm waiting till the 21st of Jan, and I just thought, I'll just get on and do this video, but because it's a big video, it's going to take a little bit of uploading. But I'm staying around my friend's house this week to look after his dog while he's on holiday, and he's got better internet than me, so I can just upload it there.
Just think about the management, just increase it just a fraction.
I will be doing. Yeah, possibly tonight, or it might be a couple of days later by the time anyone watches it. Who knows? So really the only question is now, can Hamilton hold on to 7th place? Tyres nearly shot. I'm just getting him to try and use up a bit of his fuel, because this is the other thing as well. If you let the fuel load get if you've got more fuel than what you need, that will actually slow you down. So it is worth trying to burn off that excessive fuel when you can, just to help you go a bit faster. That does make a difference. So ideally when you finish the race, you don't want to be, obviously you don't want to run out, but you don't want to have any fuel hardly left.
Just introduce a little bit of lift and coast.
Yeah, Alonso, I mean, he's 6.5 seconds behind the next person, 6.5 seconds in front of the next one, so let's just chill out on it till the end of the race now. He ain't got nothing to worry about. Hamilton, on the other hand, saw he's being pressured. This is where I had to think, oh, what do I do with them tyres? Because if you let the tyres wear down too much, even if the driver doesn't crash, you can see they're pretty worn there, what can happen is they can get punches and things like that. I've had that happen before, and you know, you want to get him over the line.
Okay, copy.
You can see the speed though. I mean, he's doing alright on the straights there.
Let's just keep it heads down.
If Matey hadn't have blocked him, he probably would have overtook both of them cars. But it's just losing so much time in the corners now.
Can go faster, mate.
Head down.
That is the thing, if you develop your car more for speed rather than cornering, when your tyres get worn, that's really, really going to hurt you. Whereas if you've got good handling, if you're driving in wet conditions or your tyres are fairly worn, you can still sort of nurse it round a lot faster. Makes it,
Anything could happen.
you know, it's all well and good being able to overtake on the straights, but if you can't dive into the corner fast enough to hold the position, they'll just take it back as soon as you get into the next position. So
we need 300 metres lift and coast.
Hamilton's just got to try and hang on for 9th place. So where they're finishing now, 3rd place and 9th, that's pretty typical of how it's been since the middle of the season. Although Alonso's probably normally been 1st and Hamilton's probably been like 4th or 5th, you know, that sort of difference.
Okay.
This is not an ideal finish for Hamilton, or what has happened quite a few times, Hamilton's been 2nd, but he's literally been like 10 or 15 seconds behind Alonso. So it's been a huge gap. But as the seasons wore on, Hamilton's results have steadily got worse and worse, and Alonso's generally been winning most of the time. Although, yeah, for him at this stage of the season, this is actually a bad result. But like I say, we're near the end of the season now anyway. He's got such a big lead, he could probably sit the rest of the races out and still win it.
Lap Lando Norris wins it. He's first over the line.
It's worth having a look at the end for the lap time, so you can just see the difference between the two best laps as well.
Yeah, well done guys, I'm happy.
Yeah, he's happy. Good job.
That was good. Get to the pit lane. Increase in lifting coast.
Yep.
So you've taken the flag.
So Hamilton managed to bring it home in 9th position. Not a great result, considering
Serious work to do to close the gap.
uh,
So let's keep going.
what's been put into that car, how many new bits, and how good of a driver Hamilton is. He's one of the best ones out there.
Now, didn't Fernando Alonso look really great
Skip all
out there?
that. So there you can see Alonso got a 1:24.282, Hamilton 1:25.038. So what's that? Just over 7/10 of a second difference there. Anyway, if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll keep doing some MotoGP setups for you in the meantime, and probably do something else like this as well. Cheerio. Bye bye.